Hello, madume, dumelang, lochan, sanbonan, khwedag. Today's word is jingoism. Jingoism is the theory or belief that a person or group or an institution is superior than others, is better than others. It's unique. It does not go according to the norm. Now, usually this happens with nations or sometimes ethnic groups. Some people believe that their nation or their ethnic group is superior to others. And we see that happening across the world. But for now, let us leave aside the attitudes of Europe towards Africa and Asia and look at the continent itself. This jingoism is very rife. Find some countries or nation states or people believe that, our people are better educated than people of such and such a nation. For example, you often hear people saying that, Zimbabwe has the best education in Southern Africa or on the continent, and Zimbabweans are better than South Africans. I used to hear that when I was working at university. Sometimes South Africans were teased that, they underwent Bantu education, therefore they were less educated than the counterparts in Zimbabwe. And sometimes this goes to extremes, where there are even skirmishes or fights or conflicts among people who believe that they are superior than others. And as I said, it happens even within nation states. For example, let's look at Nigeria. Nigeria is supposed to be one country, but it's a fictional country because the major groups each try to be dominant. And there are these jingoistic attitudes. For example, you hear that, we, the Yorubas, are more educated than the Igbos and the Hausas, and Igbos go out into the world to sell drugs and all this, that stuff. I'm not sure whether that is true or not, but I'm just indicating or giving an example of what jingoism is. And then you hear even the Igbos saying that we are better off than the rest of Nigeria, who want to secede to become our own independent country. And then you hear, a number of groups saying that, the Hausas in the north, Muslims, they are less educated than everybody else in Nigeria. And sometimes this causes very serious conflicts, even violence. And you look at the Cameroon, which I'm afraid to say is headed by a 93-year-old president. The French-speaking part of Cameroon believe that they are superior because, a Français très belle, and they look down upon the English. Remember that the French colonized the English in 1066, and English derived some sophisticated words from French. So the French have always seen themselves as superior to the English, and that also plays itself out on the continent. So it's very intense in the Cameroon. You see it in many parts of the continent, and jingoism is not healthy, especially for the unity of Africa. But, no matter how we try to ease tensions among and between nations, there'll always be those that will be jingoistic and affirm the idea that they are better. They even pull out examples to prove that they are superior than others. I heard during the planning of the march in Zimbabwe that was scheduled to take place on the 31st of July, I heard one of the young cabinet ministers there saying that this is not going to happen in Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe is not a banana republic. That was an implicit reference to South Africa, meaning that South Africa is a banana republic because people are allowed there to protest and march and to picket. But here in Zimbabwe, our military forces are ready and willing. That's how he put it. And we also had a few days later, the 83-year-old Mnangagwa saying that our prisons are not full, expressing that they're ready, more ready than South Africa to handle protests. And that protest that was set for the 31st of July didn't take place because people were intimidated. Anyhow, that's how even rogue states and rogue presidents like Mnangagwa will express their jingoism. We're better off because our people are under a stranglehold. They can't march, they can't move. We jail them, we change them, therefore we are better than South Africa down south. That is jingoism for you. Le sale hantle, sale gahle, tot since.